This is the Cryptonian. Welcome to the channel. We are taking a look at AAVE. However, first we need to take a look at Bitcoin just to give an update here because whatever Bitcoin does will affect AAVE, right? So Bitcoin currently is still in this range here, range trading here. The upside to the range 31,250. We can see that up here, and the downside 30,240. You can see that here. Now there is this is on the daily now. There is a significant development here, and that's the 30 moving averages coming into the trading range here, and you can see that um, the cloud. This is the bottom of the cloud, right? This 30-day moving average, and so as this starts to enter the trading range, that's going to affect Bitcoin, right? So usually the 30 is support when it has an impulse up. It creates this bullish cloud here, this green cloud. And so the closer the 30 gets to price action, you're going to see a little bit of volatility come in, and either Bitcoin will then push up and retest this upper band, this upper resistance at 31,250, or we're going to see the cloud deteriorate, the green cloud deteriorate, and then you're going to start seeing a little bit of red creep in, and then we could possibly have some type of a move down, or we could just kind of flash red and green here, continuing in this area. Below that is the 50-day moving average. 50-day moving average currently is at this fib level here, and that is approximately 29,185. Okay, and so um, we're getting to a point, and this is what I said before on the 4 hour, that Bitcoin is going to have to make a decision not too long from now. Now down here, the Cryptonian volatility mod has reset itself, and it is in a state of low volatility because we've just been going sideways, not much going on, and that's getting ready to move in a direction. Now, volatility is direction neutral. For example, we could go higher, we could go lower once we have that expansion. Here you can see we had the expansion, the light blue background with the blue line above the moving average. That's expansion, and that was a move in the up direction, right? The upside push, and that was price appreciation. Now, if this crosses and then Bitcoin starts coming down like this, then it's an expansion to the downside, right? So, uh, taking a look at the our window here, uh, tool window that gives us all of our information over here to the right side. The RSI is 53, so it's barely bullish, and that's pretty typical. If we're going sideways here, 53 is pretty average. The EMA bullish, DMA bullish so far on the daily, of course, again, but we are in contraction. We are in contraction. So that being said, we're not in an expansion phase where you're going to see power yet because we're just going sideways. Daily pivots were above the daily pivot and essentially above all three of the supports. But again, volatility very low. Volatility is below 5. So Bitcoin's getting ready to make a move here. And the question is, in what direction is that move going to be? A lot of consolidation here. And when we take a look at an interesting metric here, we can see that Cointelegraph covered this, and they've said that uh, a record 3.8% of the Bitcoin supply last moved at 30.2K, right? So essentially what this article states is that there's more people buying at 30K than there was buying at 16K, right? So that's very interesting. Now this could this could either be a good thing or a bad thing, um, because this typically what you have is a lot of retail. They come in late, and then when there's a move to the downside, they kind of they kind of get crushed, and so then they kind of freak out and sell, and there's a whole cycle, right? That goes with that. I'll talk about that a little bit later in a different video, but that could be a good thing or that could be a bad thing. Now, it could be a good thing if we're going up, right? Um, and essentially, all of that buying has created, stability at this level. So in a way, it's good. In a way, it's kind of questionable as to what that means, right? So that being said, we can see volume coming down here, and so that again is pretty much what you'd expect when we're going sideways. And so the next break could be the downside, could be the upside. We just have to wait and see, right? But there is a move that's coming, and these moving averages actually could force Bitcoin to try to make a push higher. The bulls, when they see that, they may be buying even more heavily at the 30, once prices hitting the 30 there, or the 50 here, right? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Now, that being said, let's move on to AAVE, as we talked about. And this is an update for AAVE. AAVE currently at $78.40, up 2%. And you can see right above it is 1 inch playing the fool. 1 inch up 22%. Pretty crazy. But whenever Bitcoin has a dip and then comes up and hits the 200 moving average after being in a prolonged downtrend, once Bitcoin makes the move up and hits that 200 moving average, then that's when, if it holds, then that's when a lot of the altcoins do the same thing, right? So that's what AAVE did here. When we take a look at AAVE, you can see AAVE is above the 200 moving average right here. Okay, so AAVE did it, and now, of course, 1 inch, excuse me, is in the process of doing that. RSI, for taking a look at our window over here, the Cryptonian suite window here where we can see all of the statistics. RSI is 60. Okay, so 60 is strong. It remains to be strong. And this is what we talked in the previous video. If we can stay above this breakout point, which it's trying to do, then we potentially could go sideways here and getting ready for the next impulse higher. Um, as long as Bitcoin doesn't, old man, Bitcoin doesn't fall out of bed, right? So the trend here, whoops, let me get the window back. Okay. So the trend here is the EMA bullish, DMA bullish, both good signs. Although the DMA will most likely flash green and red over time as we're into a pullback, possible consolidation from this point. Our expansion contraction, we're in contraction, so we don't have a lot of strength to move higher, but we do have enough strength to go sideways and consolidate. And I think that's probably what's going to happen along this line, right? Um, Possibly what could happen is a little bit of this, right? And then if we kind of go down and like so, um, really depending on what Bitcoin does. AAVE is going to consolidate, um, just like Bitcoin, right? AAVE pretty much, follows Bitcoin very, very closely. Okay, so we are in reversal. That's another reason why, this impulse up, now we're in a reversal. So that's why we're not really going anywhere. Daily pivots, 77.58 is the daily pivot for those that are paying attention, who those that, are in the market on a daily basis. Uh, this I put here for the daily traders, right? The day traders, but I'm not a day trader, but I put this in there as a useful tool. So this is a useful tool for short term or long term, right? As short as day trading, or as long term as investing. So this tool is the Cryptonian suite. Uh, is good for everybody, really. It's a great analysis tool for the charts. Volatility 28.91, almost 29. So volatility is remaining high. So you can expect to see these impulsive moves and to either the upside or the downside. But right now it's holding pretty strong right now. You can see here that we did bounce off of the $69.25 level, and so this continues to be support, price support so far. And this diagonal line, which is coming in at about, let's see here, we'll go to the next candle here. $74.10. This is going to be your breakout uh, support, and we're going to be testing that not long from now, because once you break out, you retest that maybe a few times before continuing to the upside. But I really do think that this yellow line is going to be more of where you're going to be testing or bouncing from, right? So as we come down, we're going to bounce here, and then as we get close, probably come down, retest this yellow line, and then move right back up, trying to stay above this diagonal breakout line. This diagonal breakout line here was from way up here from a previous high. Okay, so you can see how it it's got a lot of strength, and it is holding above this long diagonal line that was resistance, right? And so this is a sign that it's changing the macro direction, because this is on the daily, right? So we had a nice I mean, this is, let's see, um, more than a month worth of downside action. And you can see here where the sell signals, in a downtrend, you want to go with a sell signal at resistance. So sell signal was very successful, came down, had another sell signal, came down again, and a couple more sell signals. Okay, and then we ultimately went down here. And then we had a strong impulse to the upside. Hold on, let me remove my doodles. And then we had a nice buy signal and went straight up, right through it all. So this price action is showing a trend reversal, possible trend reversal here. And we discussed this in other videos a little bit. And so what we want to do is hang on to the gains and then go into like this sideways consolidation, which will be good news, right? That'll be a good sign that we're going to be leveling up, going up in the future when Bitcoin breaks out, goes up higher, right? So there you have it. Not much has changed. We have multiple red lines right up in this area, right above price action, showing that there is a lot of resistance there. And when we go back, we can see that that resistance was created right here. Okay, a lot of resistance right here. And currently, that's where we're just below that. We're fighting with that. We fought with it here again, and we were rejected, right? And that area was resistance here as well. So we're at the same place, fighting with this resistance area, and it'll take some time. We can push through it, but it'll take some time to consolidate sideways first. Okay, and then that will set up uh, for the bulls to strike that area and push through if there's enough buyers. Point of control. Now the Cryptonian suite does show point of control, and I love this, right? And we can see here that the point of control is at $80.65. It's this orange line here, and this orange line is where the majority of transactions took place. You can see that this gray peak here is a volume, and that shows where the transactions took place. And so if we're below that, then it's if we remain below that point of control, then we are then a little bit on the bearish side, right? However, it's not that significant right now because we had a nice impulse up and we're holding on to that impulse. But that point of control, again, like I said, was established over here. Okay, where we tried to stay above it. We went sideways, consolidated for quite some time, and then we just kind of lost that area, right? So we're trying to establish consolidation right under the area so that we can take control back, right? So so far looking good. This is what's going on with AAVE, and also this is what's going on with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's still within the same range. Will be forced to make a move not long from now, and AAVE, of course, is holding strong and looks good. Looks really good so far. So I'm really positive about AAVE so far. Trying to holding its gains and trying to put in a little bit of consolidation here. Of course, AAVE needs some more time and a little bit more time to kind of do its thing as far as consolidate sideways. And however, a move for Bitcoin, usually what happens is Bitcoin will make its move first, and then after Bitcoin making its move and takes the dominance away from the altcoins, then most likely AAVE will then make its move as well, right? So speaking about Bitcoin dominance is at let's see, 50%, 50% on the daily. So let's move this up here a little bit. So you can see here Bitcoin hit a maximum dominance here of around 52%, and now it's lost a few percentage points, and that's because money went into a few of the alts. The alts were making some gains against Bitcoin because Bitcoin made the first move, and then the altcoins. Usually, what happens is Bitcoin pushes up, and then the altcoins makes uh, makes a move. They catch up to Bitcoin as far as on the chart. Like here we have Bitcoin above the 200 move. Or excuse me, this is not Bitcoin. This is the dominance. One moment. Um, Here on Bitcoin, you can see where it's above the 200, right? It's made its move quite some time ago, and it's about well above the 200. And now you can see, for example, like 1 inch. 1 inch. Here's the 200 right here. 1 inch just broke above the 200 moving average. So 1 inch is catching up. That's why 1 inch is up 22% today, and AAVE is only up 2%, right? And Bitcoin is only up maybe 0.1%, and that's because that's because 1 inch is catching up, right? So usually what happens is Bitcoin makes a move and then the altcoins catch up if Bitcoin doesn't break down, if Bitcoin holds its gains, and then the altcoins will follow. Um, you know, if they are strong enough, they'll follow Bitcoin in that move, right? So, yeah. Again, I wouldn't be chasing this. Not investment advice. Would not be chasing this up 22%, and we're running right into this maximum RSI. RSI 82, showing just crazy strength, but also that means that it's expensive by relative standards, and I wouldn't touch it. There are some people who do kind of get confused. Oh, wow, they see it going up and they start buying it thinking it's going to continue to go up, and yet it doesn't. It usually pulls back. However, if Bitcoin stays stable, then I would imagine 1 inch to stay uh, above the 45 cents 200 moving average and try to consolidate there. If it's strong enough, it will, right? So there you have it, friends. Don't want to make the video too long. AAVE looking good, looking strong. Bitcoin boring as ever, but still looking good, looking strong. A lot of new buyers coming in for Bitcoin, and hence, you have altcoins are holding on to their gains so far, and that means AAVE as well, and that's good news for AAVE. So right now, looking good. We're above the breakout line, and if we can just hang on to that and go consolidate sideways, really the yellow line here at $69.25, that really is the area that we need to consolidate above, right? Because that's where we had that bounce there. That's where we broke above that previous resistance. So we really need to hang on to that. If we break below that, then that's going to be very bearish, right? So still under the buy signal down here, which signifies that this trend is still intact and we're still bullish. So thank you for your time, friends. Please consider subscribing if you're not subscribed. Please click like. Appreciate your time. We will see you in the next video. Take care.